At certain times during the recent hobby history, the last 30 years or so, nothing has been hotter than Mark McGwire rookie cards. That's what happens when you break the all-time home run record, come back from injury and slumps to reclaim your place as one of the top sluggers in the game, break the all-time single-season home run record. Big Mac was amazing, but like most heroes, he experienced a fall from grace. Most notably, the ding his reputation and record took as a result of the PED backlash of the last 15 years or so. So where does that leave Mark McGwire's rookie cards? I'm glad you asked. Despite their demise, McGwire cardboard has rebounded. Not to their halcyon heights of his glory days, but at least to the level of a living legend, with an outside shot of the Hall of Fame. Here then is a rundown of Big Mac's Big Five rookie cards as they stand in the marketplace. 1985 Topps U.S. Olympic Team, number 401. When 1985 Topps baseball cards first came out, collectors weren't quite sure what to do with the cards numbered 389 through 404. Thanks to the explosion of red, white, and blue, along with the USA 1984 United States Baseball Team designation, we knew these cards represented members of the 1984 U.S. Olympic squad. A few of us might have remembered that the U.S. lost the gold medal game to Japan, and we might also have recognized some of the players from their time at the Los Angeles Olympics or from their college exploits. But for most of us, at least kids like me, these cards were just a waste of space. I mean, most of the players were completely unrecognizable, and they didn't have any discernible major league affiliation. Couldn't Topps have put that cardboard real estate to better use, like including more Cincinnati Red players or bringing back Rookie Stars cards? Of course, even back then, there were folks in the business who knew how to create a buzz around young players and their first cards. So it didn't take long for the word to get around at card shows. Mike Dunn was going to be a great pitcher. Oda B. McDowell was the next Willie Mays. Corey Schneider was the next longer-lasting Joe Charbonneau, so their cards and a couple of others, like Shane Mack comes to mind, picked up some steam. Nobody was too jazzed about getting generic cards of John Hoover, Flavio Alfaro, or Rod Dedeaux, though. And really, no one was too amped up about Mark McGwire either. But a scant 2 years later, Big Mac was becoming, well, Big Mac, stepping in at first base for the Oakland A's and making a perfect Bash brother partner for the 1986 American League Rookie of the Year, Jose Canseco. By the 1987 All-Star break, McGwire had already slammed 31 home runs and looked like he would not only break the rookie record for dingers in a season, but maybe Roger Maris's all-time season mark of 61. McGwire slowed down and managed only 49 homers on the full season, but the young slugger had arguably already cemented his place as a legend by the time he took home the 1987 American League Rookie of the Year award that November. Along the way, of course, Big Mac's exploits helped supersize the demand and price for his cards. During that magical summer, his 1987 Donruss card took on its own magical sheen, and his 1987 Topps rookie card didn't languish long on dealers' tables either. It was his exotic 1985 Topps card that really caught collectors' eyes and fancies during the summer of Slam. And so we grabbed on and chased the previously shunned 1985 Topps Mark McGwire pre-rookie card like a tail chasing its dog. And as we did, prices climbed higher and higher until it was the most expensive 1980s card going, outside of the 1984 Donruss Don Mattingly rookie card. Now, McGwire ebbed and flowed over the next decade or so, and his card prices did too. But by the time he found himself with the St. Louis Cardinals in the mid-1990s and was ready to really crank up the power, the hobby had changed. And we had pretty much lived through the heart of the junk wax era for one thing, and 1985 Topps cards looked like hen's teeth compared to the baseboard swill we'd been swilling for several years. About the same time in 1998, PSA came on the scene and nearly instantly created the ultimate condition premium. A high PSA grading could rocket card values. So as Mark McGwire ramped up his chase on Maris in 1998, collectors ramped up our hunt for his 1985 Topps USA card again, and this time with even stronger focus on condition than ever before. As Big Mac's homer totals climbed, so did the price tag on his first Topps card, well into 3 figures. Untold wads of cash changed hands buying and selling McGwire rookies from that point until his PED-induced fall from grace in the 2000s jabbed a pinhole in the market, and a lot of folks felt duped when the prices tanked afterwards. But funny thing about life and baseball cards is that hardly anything is permanent, except for maybe our memories of the good times. Grudges dull, breaking news, and new indignities obscure the scars of the past, and we learn to move on. Big Mac has moved on to some extent, working as a major league coach for various sorts over the past few years, getting his face back in the game. He may never make the Hall of Fame, but he's not the pariah he once was either. Same goes for his 1985 Topps rookie cards. They sell regularly on eBay for less than $10 in raw condition, but can stretch all the way to $750 or so for PSA 10 copies. Not the fortune we once thought they'd be worth, but not nothing either. We've moved on. 1987 Donruss rated rookie, number 46. There was a perception in the early months of 1987 that the new Fleer cards were super scarce, and that the new Donruss cards were just plain old scarce. Turns out neither of those ideas were particularly true, but the gleam and the scarcity shone on these cards for several years and graced them with pricing premiums all along the way. Even so, Fleer developed a big problem during that long ago summer. They didn't include Mark McGwire in their base set. Donruss, on the other hand, was all over the big slugger, even slathering him with a coveted rated rookie rating. So if you wanted a high-quality rookie card of the latest phenom, one that you could pull from the then current packs, Donruss was your only choice. As a consequence, the McGwire rated rookie climbed to $10 and beyond in a flash of a spike, and we collectively kept pushing until the card was out of reach of many young collectors. Think of the children. Like the 1985 Topps USA card, that pricing frenzy couldn't survive the junk wax era and the PED scandals. But it's not completely dead these days. Think $1 or so for raw copies and $20 to $40 for PSA 10s, depending on whether the wind is blowing in or out. 1987 Fleer update, Mark McGwire, U76. Fleer finally got their McGwire act together by including him in their 1987 update set, but it felt, and still feels, pretty ridiculous to give them credit for a rookie card nearly 3 years after Topps broke the slugger seal with their 1985 USA card. Even so, this is the first Fleer Big Mac card, and it enjoyed a couple of bombs in batting practice. Today, you can usually find this one for less than $1 in raw and maybe $20 in PSA 10. 1987 Sport Flicks Rookies, Mark McGwire 13, 1.00. Take everything I said about the Fleer card and multiply it by 3 for the patented triple motion extra card from Sportflix. The still new kid on the block could have included McGwire in their base 1987 set of corrugated cards, but they didn't. Instead, they jumped on the bandwagon with their follow-on rookie set to produce what may be the most underwhelming card ever issued of a 500 home run man. This one too will set you back $1 to $30 depending on condition. 1987 Topps Mark McGwire, 366, 1.00. The 1987 Topps set was never scarce in any sort of way, but it became a hobby classic the instant the first collector cracked open a wax pack that winter. Those wood borders are polarizing, sure, but they're also freaking iconic, and pretty darn good looking if you ask me. And that shot of McGwire is not perfect, and it's unusual and shows the young masher poised and ready to mash. This was an extremely popular card of the time Big Mac started getting national coverage, and though it never attained the value of the USA or Donruss cards, it's always sold well during McGwire's upswings. These days, you can still buy large lots of these beauties for under $1 a card, but you'll have to cough up $25 or more for a PSA 10 specimen. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com